This is Dragon Ball Legends, and this is Super Saiyan 2 Ultra Gohan Youth, and this is his game. Once again, guys, a Dragon Ball Legends Gohan release is here to dominate the meta, but for today's video, we're talking about ways you, the player, can deal with Gohan, whether it's in a mirror match or against him. I hope you guys enjoy. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And for today's question of the day, post down below in the comments what your experiences have been, whether it's with or against Gohan. Maybe you got your teeth kicked in. Maybe he got some clutch comeback. Maybe you were the user and got a clutch comeback where you kicked their teeth in. I don't know. There's a lot of teeth on the floor, but Gohan is the culprit regardless. So post down below how you guys feel about the Gohan in the game. I gotta say, Gohan is a character that when we talk about quote-unquote countering, you've got to be able to do a number of things physically. There's not characters that literally do XYZ, not too many of them, that kind of interact with Gohan's mechanics in a certain way. Some of it is just kind of knowing what the character does. Try not to get hit with this damn green card. Don't give him a free blue card counter on you. Things like that. But the thing with Gohan is that he has a ton of neutrality, or a ton of, utility, excuse me. A ton of utility. He does a little bit of everything. He's got, like I said, the counter there. He's got the other counter on the gauge. He's got the endurance. He does have just a ton of, last man standing buffs where allies are defeated. He starts proccing different things. He's got the damn AoE green card for no reason. But the most important thing, and we're going to also take a look at the community response, because I did ask this question on Twitter and see what you guys said. By the way, follow your boy on Twitter if you haven't already. DFreeDBZHD. Once again, follow me on Twitter. But one thing I want to kind of point out, and it's never this simple, never as simple as color beats color, right? But Gohan actually doesn't have a ton of unfavorable element nullification. He only gets it when allies start dropping. So he gets it on the ultimate when two allies are defeated, he'll go neutral there. That's because that ultimate is supposed to nuke. Whoever it's against, it's supposed to nuke. And then other than that, he has it on entry. It's somewhere in there. But I think it's on the vanishing step. He has it on the vanishing step, but he gets it for defense only when one ally is defeated. So he doesn't have a lot of neutrality. And again, it's never as simple as color beats color. However, in this climate, that actually kind of does matter, because I think right now there are some really solid purple characters in the meta that are uniquely equipped to playing in this meta or potentially playing around Gohan to some capacity. A character like Perfect Cell here, Perfect Form Cell. Shout out to Perfect Cell, by the way, the old one, because there's a chance he gets a Zenkai soon. Who knows? Who knows? He was in some boost stuff, and that doesn't always mean the character's getting a Zenkai, but it a lot of times does. Also, Ultra Super Gogeta, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, excuse me. Would not sleep on him. He's really power crept, kind of old. Still does mostly everything an offensive character should do. Where he is power crept is more so in the stats / damage increase departments and things like that, where a character like Gohan is coming out with 170%, for example. But he's uniquely equipped to play in this meta, I think. And there are some other good purple characters that are a little bit more niche that I wouldn't necessarily recommend using, but you can use effectively. But the thing with Gohan, again, is try not to give him freebies, free stuff, right? Next, I want to kind of also highlight a couple of other non-purple characters that can kind of play well in the Gohan meta. And that's Super 17. Super 17 is our most recent LF release, and he may be the single best character in this meta to play alongside or against Gohan due to numerous reasons. But Gohan being blast based, which was not what I had on my bingo card at all, but Gohan being blast based does mean 17 does have unique advantages against him, particularly because Gohan also puts double blasts in the deck. So it's a battle of passive natures. And 17 with that green card, if he lands it on Gohan, Gohan could be in a really, really tight spot. Also, I wanted to shout out a character like LF Jiren, things like that. I also want to shout out some other characters like Yellow Jiren, not necessarily a character I would personally use, not right now. Maybe you could bring in some, Universe Survival Team that's really good, but characters that can interact with some of Gohan's mechanics will be really, really good. And Yellow Jiren, I believe, has that anti-AoE green card mechanic, which will save your butt. It will save your butt. Also, characters that have gauges that interact with the Gohan cards overall would be really good too. So let's go ahead and see what some of the community is saying, and that'll also allow me to springboard a little bit further. But now, once again, if you haven't already, remember to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you were new, and post your experiences down below. Once again, question of the day. Let's drive the engagement up, baby. How have your experiences been with Ultra Gohan? So Muhammad says, Apart from his AoE green, I literally just mentioned him. Oh my god, the drool face. Super 17 renders most of his kit useless because of the tap attack locking arts. Locking cards to the blue card counter gets sealed, and 17 being blast on a blast based team, you rarely worry about the gauge counter, and 17 reduces his heal after endurance. Yeah, so that's why I didn't really elaborate a ton, but I really do feel like he's gone. I don't know where I went. 17 is probably the single best character to have in this Gohan, setup. I haven't used 17 a ton, so I haven't really experienced it that way, but just conceptually on paper, I can see it. So he's already saying XYZ is happening, so I can't confirm or deny, but it seems like 17 interacts very well with Gohan, which is really, really cool. But also, a lot of that depends on the users, things you're going to do, things you're going to give up. But I want to say, on a quick note, that Gohan's best team is the Android team. Okay. It's a 1A, 1B thing. It's like his best team is androids, but it's also hybrids, because goddamn that hybrid team is disgusting. So pick your poison. But him being Blast really opened up his placement on this team, particularly because there are some really good greens here, but he's the best one by a mile. So he slots in, and this team has every other good character, every other good color covered with a Blast-based character. They're all on the screen in a perfect diamond here. Look at this. So, pick your poison. They are set. The Android team with 17 and Gohan is going to be disgusting. All right. The counter for Gohan is a credit card and more copies of Gohan. Oh, my God. That did not answer the question, but oh, my God. Ultra UI is a great counter to anything since he's literally designed as a counter unit. Not sure what he means by that. I have also had good success with Revival UI since his blue is projectile and cancels endurance. So catching Ultra Gohan in a sidestep or blast works great. Okay, so if you have... So that's a little bit of a unique scenario. I don't know exactly the point that he means with Ultra UI, it being like a counter unit. I'm not really sure. Ultra UI's got that strike-based gauge, but or dash-forward-based gauge, and Gohan doesn't really do much of anything with that. But other than that, I mean, the dodging, is he talking about the dodging? I'm not really sure. Isn't the blue card also a Kamehameha? Oh no, the blue card's a counter. Well, what does it do if it just, if he takes the stance and nothing happens? Does it just transition into a slow, late animation Kamehameha? Is that what happens here? Anyway, so I'm not really sure exactly, but nonetheless, if you have a character like Revival UI, one really unique thing about those kind of characters, also Ultra UI does chop the damage of ultimates, so maybe that's what he means. I don't know. But one unique thing about characters like that is they are actually characters, transforming characters, revival characters that do not have ultimates, but have very strong special moves. Oftentimes have the main perks of an ultimate on their special move, i.e., example being endurance nullification. So, in most of the time, those are going to be close range, dash forward type of things that are easier to counter. So keep that in mind. But if you can catch Gohan on the sidestep with like a endurance canceling Kamehameha or something, then you might be cooking. So I can see that. But that's like, it's not like super duper niche, but it's kind of niche, right? But that only is exclusive to characters that are, again, high-end characters, premium characters that are Transformers or Revivers or something like that. Super 17 melts the whole team. I was going to say, wait, what is he saying here? FP Jiren. Full Power Jiren is good, but UI can easily wall him. Hopefully we get LF Cell Zenkai next week. LF Cell Zenkai, I almost, like, it seems likely, but it almost doesn't seem likely because he would probably be a little too good in this meta versus Gohan. And they don't typically do that. They don't typically do that. Doesn't he also have hybrid? Yeah, he does. Extra damage against hybrids and stuff too. They don't typically do that, man. Where they eventually print a counter to their characters. Like 17 just absolutely decimates freaking UI. But also that has always been true. Always in the history of the game. They always wait a couple months and come back. So Gohan won't be, aside from the snafu with Red Gohan, but they couldn't figure out how to counter that dude and get him off the goddamn pedestal. It took a year and a half to get him off that pedestal. But for the most part, they've been able to do it. But anyway, yeah, so I don't really know. Like, it feels likely, but also unlikely at the same time. So I'm not really sure. But Jiren is good. Yeah, Jiren is an okay option, I think. I think Jiren could be an okay option, like I mentioned earlier. Ultra Gogeta Blue is the only character I've really spent serious time and money on to get high stars, and I do not regret it. Yes, his blue is melee based, but after 60 counts, Gohan really doesn't stand a chance. So that's kind of the thing with Ultra Gogeta Blue. Is he the peak of the game anymore? Absolutely not. But I'd be lying if I said this dude has like completely aged out of the game. Like I said, where he is power crept is in the stat department. And I'm not sure it's like flat stats. I'd have to look at the literal like flat stats in the game. But it's in the way of damage inflicted, damage cut, things like that. But when he gets going, because he's still an extremely strong late game character. He's a slow starter. When he gets going, he's extremely strong. So if you've got this guy at high star levels and on a real good team, you could definitely make stuff work. Now, what even is his best team right now? Movies? Is it movies? Yeah, it's movies. Okay, I don't even need to pull up like Fusion Warrior or anything else. It's movies. Unless you're exporting him to a different team somewhere like Sun Family or Saiyan maybe, which actually probably could cook with Goku and Bardock. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this guy I think is really strong in this climate. Also his gauge and typing. So multiple things. His gauge, his typing, and Gohan's inability to really have neutrality often make this guy a really good character in this climate. And that's just some of it. So Gohan can't shred him, because even if he starts shredding him, he'll just trigger the gauge. So, and then Gohan is blast based, right? So like it's interesting. I'm not like completely advocating go use this guy, but I think he's really a dark horse character that too many people are probably overriding or overlooking. Super 17, I think LF full power Jiren. Gohan lacks type neutrality mostly, so he gets walled off. Unfortunately, any purple is an immediate danger against Ultra UI. So for non-purple units, Red Beast does pretty good, and maybe Revival Cell. So I meant to elaborate on this further. I also, like I talked about that hybrid team. I said androids, hybrids. In my team building video, if you watched it anyway, you saw that I also said another really good team for Gohan was going to be Universe Survival or a hybrid team with Ultra UI in the slot. But regardless, a team with him and Ultra UI is going to be insane. And that's actually better now than I thought it was going to be, because again, Gohan wound up being a ranged character as well. And the nasty thing about Ultra UI is he is the perfect cover for this Gohan. Why? Because if you have a purple out there, he's going to snipe him off. Ultra UI will snipe that purple off before he becomes a real problem to Gohan. That's the thing that's kind of tricky. That's also why, and I'm like looking at the banners. That's also why, though, I think that the Android team is the best team, because they have 17. I think that it's a rock, paper, scissors thing with these colors, obviously. And I think 17 is the winner of that. So, because 17 can deal with Ultra UI, and he can also deal with Gohan relatively well. So Super 17 has a legitimate claim as like, I don't think he's in top 1, but he's like at worst 3, I think, in the game right now. Super 17 is crazy. So let's move on from there. But yeah, that's the one thing I forgot to elaborate on, is Ultra UI with him is going to be crazy. So for non-purple units, Red Beast does pretty good, and maybe Revival Cell. Red Beast also super strong. Red Beast decimates Ultra UI. Again, it's a rock, paper, scissors thing for sure, but he decimates Ultra UI, particularly because he doesn't rely on an ultimate. Ultra UI tries to stop characters that rely on an ultimate. He heals, he goes neutral, I believe, as well, things like that. Gohan will just blow him up with the blue card. Super 17 himself. Okay, we haven't talked about the mirror. Let me talk about that. LF Jiren, in order for the top 3, Super 17, LF Jiren, Go Frieza, Goku side. I was like, wait a minute, what? But no, I get it now. All these characters except Jiren need at least 1 Zenkai buff, though. Okay, that's fair. We didn't talk about Goku and Frieza. Huh. How do I feel about Goku and Frieza? Where the hell are they even at? I need to see it in action. I'll leave that to you guys to talk about the matchup there. I'm not really sure. I don't know where the hell those dudes are. I'm not really sure exactly how that matchup goes. I can't really picture it too great right now. in particular, like what exclusively Goku's side is doing that's shutting down Gohan in any way, besides being purple. I'm not really sure. I'd have to really like compare notes. Anyway, himself is a funny answer. Himself is a funny answer. Because this will segue us all the way back to what I was talking about in the very beginning. And the simple counter to Gohan is just don't be a dummy. Just don't be a dummy. And it's not that simple because in all seriousness, maybe you get baited or something like that. There's not a ton you could really do to that. Oh, we just got a subscription over on Twitch, I believe. What's up? Thank you, Tree, my guy. Yeah, baby. We're not even on Twitch right now. Thank you. So it's not as simple as like don't get caught, don't be a dummy, things like that, like I was saying. But he's got some free shit in his kit. If you give him vanishes, he's gonna get that AoE green. He's gonna go stupid. He's got the double ultimate. He's got the nullifies. He's got all this crap. He's got that counter blue card. He's got the countering gauge as well. The gauge feels like just like water, like a cup of water getting poured into. It goes crazy when he uses cards. Speaking of cards, he has a billion damn cards. So like, it's more so just don't be stupid. I think the funny thing with this matchup is if you are able to effectively bait out that blue card, you might win. You might just win because you'll get them. And the funny thing about this matchup too is that if you have Ultra UI, you really are going to win because you'll just be able to snipe off a character. I actually want to pull up Ultra UI's ultimate here. The one that he draws. He doesn't have Nullify Endurance on it, does he? Goes neutral. Yeah, he doesn't have... Dude, could you imagine if he had Nullify Endurance on this? God damn. Hold on. Nullify. It's in here somewhere. He has it. I just don't know where it is. Cover change prevention is such a dumb. Such a dumb machine. 0? No. Okay. Let me find it. Nullifies unfavorable elements. Own unfavorable elements. Reduce key. Nullifies cover change. When actions are nullified, draws the ultimate. Nullifies cover change. Nullifies unfavorables. Oh, he just doesn't have it. Okay, that's fair. That's right. I was like, I know it's in here somewhere. I was like, I know he's got to have it. It's on the main ability. Okay, so yeah, this is actually a good placement for it because that means that the free one won't. The only way he'll have it, this might be a super big brain play, is to try to snipe off the Gohan post activating your main ability. I haven't even tried that before. If you wait long enough, the 25 counts to where you can, and you have to draw the main ability first, right? Because you need the time to activate that ultimate. You only have a couple counts. You might be able to snipe off the Gohan, but that's not a Gohan exclusive thing. That's a any character with endurance thing because that ult's gonna hit like a nuke and he's gonna blow them up. So that might be something you could do as well. But above all else, we just named a handful of characters. I'm sure that in the long list of characters and the various team compositions, there may be a ton of characters that work exceptionally well against Gohan. But I think that one point that I want to make as well before we end is that it depends on the team Gohan's on. If that wasn't clear, it depends on the team he's on. Because he's going to have different allies, obviously, and they excel at different things. They're going to be different colors. That is something that also needs to be said. It depends on the team he's on, because some of the options you may or may not have are not going to be as free as playable options against other teams. So keep that in mind. But I want to know in the comments for the last time, what characters do you recommend?